So I was talking with my friend Joss just yesterday, and we were talking about generating leads for our agencies. Specifically, he was asking me all about networking because going out networking seems pretty old school, old-fashioned. Surely don't the old people do that? And yet look at me, this young whippersnapper who goes out networking for a industry that is considered to be online and technical. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of us tend to make. We seem to think, and me included in this, is we seem to think that as we are an online company, that perhaps that's the way we're meant to be generating business, and we're looking at Facebook ads, or we're looking at understanding funnels, or doing clever online marketing, building up our email lists, creating lead magnets, and all of those are brilliant ways of marketing yourself, and there is some phenomenal information out there. But also, it can be quite hard to learn, and I've found that it's actually really difficult as an agency, in my experience at least, to generate opportunities, to generate leads using those methods. And I've actually found doing networking has been one of the most effective ways of generating leads for our business. I mean, we create complicated websites. We create some huge, hard to understand projects that surely people in a network environment would never understand. So how on earth are we generating leads in that environment? So let me just unpack that for you and tell you what we do. So we go to a few networking groups locally, and we also actually do, I said about online, we do attend a few networking groups online as well, where we've got some masterminds and we communicate with other people. But predominantly, our networking is done locally, and me or Larissa will head out to one of those networking groups. And when we're there, we are focusing on building up relationships with all those people at the networking group. So the idea is there is usually nobody at the group that would be a potential client of ours, but there are tons of people at the networking group who know lots of people. So it's really important to go ahead and get to know them. So our focus is to make friends with everybody that we can in the networking group, and to see how we can help them, to learn about them and learn what opportunities we can maybe put their way. Now, you'll remember there's the 60-second slot, and for our agency, I have a very simple 60-second slot. And what I'll say is I'll stand up and I'll explain that we create WordPress themes from designs provided by design agencies. And I might show a picture of a masterpiece and explain that the difference between somebody painting this masterpiece and somebody then creating the code to allow this masterpiece to become a shop on the internet. And that helps people understand what we do. And then the hook, I guess, is that we'll then ask everybody to look at their business card and say, okay, so who designed your business card? And most people will know, and there'll be a show of hands, and I'll say, they are the people that I want to meet. So that's pretty much all we'll ever say about our business. If somebody asks us about our business during the general day-to-day of networking, of course we're going to tell them, give them some information, etc. But generally we try and keep everything to the 60 seconds, and then the rest of the time that we network, we're having conversations with other people. We're asking questions about them, because people do like to talk about themselves. I'm on camera every freaking day. I love talking about myself. I'm doing it right now. But people, in all seriousness, people do love to talk about themselves. They love to feel valued. They have exciting stories to tell, and we learn so much from them, and we can give them great opportunities, either by them becoming our suppliers, because we found great accountants, we found great developers. We've also found great designers for our own work as well through networking. But also, as you grow that friendship, they begin to know, like, and trust you. And that 60-second with that clever hook, that memorable hook that's in their mind, is always something that's in the back as you continue to grow the friendships and grow the relationships by showing up at networking all the time. And in the end, over time, it was a slow burn for us. It was probably about a year before we started generating opportunities. But after about a year for us, we found that the phone would ring regularly, or emails would come in regularly, because the people that we've grown good bonds with, good relationships with, have always connected that Lee Jackson wants to speak to designers, that Lee Jackson builds websites, that Larissa Meikle builds websites, she's part of that team. And lo and behold, they start to connect us with people, and we've made a huge portion of our business nowadays through networking. Of course, we've got things like the podcast online that generates leads. We generate lots of content, etc. We show up at big events and we network at those sorts of spaces as well. But a huge portion of the work that we've had over the last few years, especially the last 2 years, has been through local networking. So if you are wondering of a way for your agency to generate leads, then look no further than your front door. There are probably a few really great small networking groups that you can be a part of. And I say small because it's good to be in a small environment where you can really get on with a good group of people and you're all looking out for each other. So go ahead, see if you can find a local group with a good breakfast and some good people in there. They don't have to know anything about web development. They don't even have to be in your industry, because we've found that the most powerful way of networking has been to develop those relationships and be super clear about who it is you want to be able to talk to. I hope that's been helpful. That's what we get up to. That's how we network. I'm going to link to the full conversation because this was on a podcast. It was a live broadcast that we did yesterday with Joss. So I'll link to that below. You can listen to the full episode where we talk about our networking and other things within our business. So go ahead and check that out. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. That would be phenomenal. If you didn't like this video, let's keep that a secret. If you didn't know, we have a Facebook group. Head on over to wpinnovator.com/group where there is tons of great information for anyone who is running an agency or building websites. If you like this video content, go ahead and subscribe. That would be fantastic. And don't forget as well, on wpinnovator.com, we also have our podcast where we are in episode 87 with Amy Schmittauer, which is a brilliant episode because she is a legend. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow.